So back in early 2021, I covered the partially lost Walking with Dinosaurs pilot. To give you a brief rundown, the pilot was a 6-minute short that was created by the showrunner Tim Haynes, and the CG animations done by Mike Milne and his team at Framestore. While the full 6-minute pilot is not available for general audiences to watch, certain parts of it can be viewed on the 30-minute Trilogy of Life special on the Walking with Monsters DVD set. This special documented the history of the creation of the original Walking With trilogy, starting out with the creation of the 6-minute pilot that was meant to be a demo of sorts to be sent to the BBC. There, it would be decided whether or not the show would be greenlit, which it obviously was. But the full pilot was never intended to be released to the public, and as a result, the short itself was nothing too special, just showcased the dinosaurs featured eating and walking around. But there were a couple of new creatures shown here that weren't in the final cut, like the Cetiosaurus and the Scaphognathus, along with an early design for the Eustreptospondylus. When I did that video almost 2 years ago, there would be one viewer, a lost media and dinosaur enthusiast, that would join my Discord server and express a great interest in this topic. This person would be Electric Boogaloo, who is also my moderator in the server as well. Electric did a bunch of digging in an attempt to search for this pilot episode. I really can't emphasize enough the kind of work he put into this search, and I wanted to take a moment to document what he had managed to find so far. He actually gave me all of these details like months ago, so this update to the lost pilot has been long overdue, so yeah, better late than never, right? Electric started his search by sending emails to various companies involved with the creation of the Walking With series, BBC, Framestore, Impossible Pictures. No response from any of them. So Electric then attempted to contact one of the scientific consultants for the show, more specifically David Martill. And according to Electric, Martill did respond and confirmed to him that he did have a tape of the pilot, however, he didn't have it on hand. While this doesn't get us too far, it did confirm that it was still around to some extent. Electric was also able to get in contact with Darren Naish, a friend of Haynes, who publicly responded to Electric on Twitter, saying that he had indeed seen the pilot twice and that he was actually going to get in contact with Haynes to get more information about it. So, holy shit, Electric did it. Surely Haynes, the creator of the show himself, would have a copy of the pilot and possibly even more information about it, right? Well, no, wrong. Unfortunately for Electric, and really all of us that wanted to know more about this, Naish confirmed publicly on his Twitter that Haynes had confirmed to him that he didn't have the pilot. In fact, the fragmented parts already shown on YouTube are all that Haynes are aware of. With the creator himself not having any kind of knowledge as to where the full pilot could be located, this possibly indicates that the only surviving clips of it are in the special. But let's not be too hasty here. First of all, we've already confirmed, kind of, that Martill most likely has a copy, he just doesn't have it on hand. But aside from that, there were other people to contact and other places for it to be. We'll get to all of that, but one thing that Electric was able to find was a full render of the Cetiosaurus in a Walking with Dinosaurs sticker book. So yeah, that's cool that we at least get to see what the full creature looked like. Anyways, Electric would continue to seek out anyone else that was associated with this show in any way, even contacting old animators on LinkedIn, all of which were unresponsive. However, he was able to get a response from Jasper James, the producer of the Walking With series. But this was another dead end, since James confirms that he wasn't even really brought on board for the project until after the pitch pilot was shown. But he did kind of narrow the search a little bit and even gave Electric a few more people that he can try and contact. People like Mike McGee and William Sargent that worked at Framestore, to which Electric did, but no responses from them. But Electric would finally get a pretty decent break with this search. He actually managed to get in contact with Mike Milne himself, and Milne confirms something new about this lost episode. According to Milne, it actually wasn't even an episode at all, just random sequences featuring different dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures that were supposed to be proof of concepts for the show itself. Milne explains that he and Haynes had agreed to use the Jurassic Park method of combining CGI animation with practical effects. But he was struggling to figure out how they would get that done and spent several weeks on the project while Haynes traveled to record the backgrounds for the shot. Milne would eventually get the animations of 4 animals completed: a theropod, a pterosaur, a pliosaur, and a plesiosaur, which was one of the animals that we didn't see in the clips that were provided in the Trilogy of Life special. Milne wasn't very proud of the animation that resulted, as he considered them to be crude compared to the final product. But one sequence that he seemed to be okay with was the plesiosaur one, which is unfortunately part of the sequences that are still lost. However, Milne did send a picture of the physical plastic figure that he based the CGI model after, showing us what the plesiosaur would have at least looked like in the pilot show. This was a pretty big find for Electric. In the grand scheme of things, it may not seem that big, but considering the 8-month search for information about this pitch, the amount of people Electric's contacted and attempted to contact, the amount of dead ends and lack of responses, this was much better than nothing. And the thing is, this wasn't all there was to the information. Going back to Naish, he also made a couple of posts on his Tetsu blog site talking about what he remembered watching out of the original pilot, and mainly just reminiscing about the early days of Walking with Dinosaurs in general. He actually mentioned some of what was originally included or what was going to be included in the pilot. At one point in the pilot, the Liopleurodon's head was shown in partial x-ray such that the inner workings of the nostrils and nasal chamber would be better explained. This was eventually abandoned as a more natural history aesthetic came to dominate. I think this segment showing the partial x-ray survived in the making of documentary. Mike also showed an animation sequence in which a reclining Allosaurus, untextured and uncolored except for default monotone gray, was shown indulging in a few actions. It lifted its leg and proceeded to lick its genital area as if it were a cat or dog. Very interesting. Mike also showed a more fully rendered scene in which a greenish allosaur-type theropod was shown walking through a vegetated landscape while small hypsilophodont-type dinosaurs move or ran out of its way. The dinosaurs didn't make any noise, but Lou Reed's Perfect Day blared loudly in accompaniment. Naish does say that he was only here as an observer and didn't have any kind of influence on the show or anything involving the pilots. I think it's pretty cool that Naish did contribute to this search though, not only getting in contact with Tim Haynes for us and confirming certain information, but also revealing more in his blog post as well. Not that I think we had any influence on this post at all, it's likely this was just a coincidence or he was already planning on making that post, but regardless, I still think it's great that he helped out the community a little bit here. But all of this took place months ago. After talking with Mike Milne about the pilot, Electric decided to take a well-deserved break from searching for it for a while. Hello, and welcome to the end segment of the video. I'm glad you guys made it, and I hope you enjoyed it. This was a video that I was supposed to do months ago, but for reasons, I kept putting it off. So I do apologize to Electric especially because I told him that I was going to do this sooner and I didn't. And it's literally his efforts that I wanted to document. So like, yeah, I can't emphasize enough that this video would not be possible without Electric's work. Literally, he did most of the stuff. I did very little. I did do a little bit, but it was so minuscule that I didn't even add it into the video. If I remember correctly, one of the things that I did end up doing was contacting BBC Studios themselves, but I don't even think I got a response, and even if I did, I'm pretty sure it was, you know, the usual, oh yeah, we don't really give out that kind of information kind of deal. So either way, it's not anything useful or something that you guys haven't heard already. I didn't think it was worth mentioning. I don't even know why I mentioned it in this end segment. I think I just want to feel special. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to Electric for, you know, again, putting in all that effort and finding out as much as he can about this pilot episode. And that's all I have to say for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please, have a nice day.